This will be my response to the recent video posted by Frogger25 about my actions throughout my time in the Max Mode List community. As a fair warning, this video is scripted so I could organize all of the points that I wanted to say in one document. I gained an online following very fast, and I never really adjusted my behavior for it. For that, I truly apologize to everyone that I have hurt throughout my time in this community. I first want to apologize, then I will go over a defense for a few points, because some things I do believe that I need to comment on. Firstly, I am sorry for my toxicity towards the Max Mode List, and this is something that has been long overdue from me. After Frogger's video was posted, I looked back at all of my videos before I made a Discord and began to interact with people on there. YouTube, in a way, had saved me from my internal toxicity, but then I had slowly gained an ego and brought it back, and I hurt a lot of people in the process. For this reason, I will be completely stepping away from Discord entirely. I will no longer be using the platform for anything outside of keeping in contact with some close friends, or notifying people about upcoming videos. As of posting this video, the server is currently in a state where only the announcements chats are visible, and I will likely keep it that way until the next video is released. I have spent 2 months straight working on this project, and I believe that it can still have a positive impact on the community. The server will stay, at least for the moment, but in order to not hurt anyone else, I will not be using the platform anymore. As for the channel itself, I don't plan to change anything. All of my toxic behavior originated and stayed in Discord, and I believe that everything I've created on the main channel can still be looked upon in a positive light. I'm hoping to change as a person and move on from this situation so that I can continue posting videos for people to enjoy. But if you no longer support me after this, I completely understand. Again, I am sorry for spreading toxicity and just being a toxic person in general. Now, I do want to address some of the points that were made against me in the video. Mainly that I endorse racism and that I am transphobic, neither of which are true. I will admit, however, that I have used the R word in some of these screenshots. If anyone was truly offended by my use of this word, I am sorry and I really can't say much other than that. I had seen this word used throughout the community and within members of the Max Mode List, and to me, I thought that made it okay. But this was not the right way to go about it, and I am sorry. I had personally never considered this word to be a slur, but to many people it is, and I should have recognized that. Throughout all these screenshots in Frogger's document, I have never said any racial slurs, nor made any racist innuendos. The point that was levied against me was more so about the people that I communicated with. One of the rules from my server was that I would not ban someone from my server so long as they did not break any rules in my server, no matter who they were outside of my Discord server. If they don't violate any of the rules here, I'm not going to ban them. In retrospect, this allowed a lot of toxicity to enter into a wider community, and I wish I took better precautions and realized how much of an influence that I truly have. And for that, I am sorry. On other servers that I was part of, such as MML Spanish, I will admit that others would often use slurs, but MML Spanish was not my community. I was invited there and I would talk there, but at no point did I ever say anything that could be interpreted as racist. If the server wasn't Mutt Army, I didn't see it as my place to try and change the rules. I also want to mention that the FCL planning server was just that, a planning server. I would never allow what was said in the FCL to continue once it was revealed to the public. The entire goal was to distance from the MML. So I didn't want the MML to be brought up in any way once it was finalized, good or bad. Many of the members in the FCL planning server came from MML Spanish. But Frogger's video phrases it like I wanted slurs to run rampant in an FCL public server, but this was not the case. FCL was intended to have the same rules as Mutt Army when it was released, and anyone who used those slurs that were said during the planning phase would have been banned. Even still, I should have regulated this server more in its planning stages. I didn't bother changing any rules to reflect that because the majority of members in that server were from MML Spanish, and I do regret that. Some people were hurt from what others said in FCL, and I am truly sorry to those people. I also want to make it clear here that I am not transphobic. When I would get into arguments about the Max Mode List, it was often with transgender members, but this was completely coincidental and unintentional. I will admit, however, that at a few points I did think there was some form of transgender bias within the Max Mode List. If you're unfamiliar with this situation, a previously blacklisted player named Tyson had changed their name to AliUCN and began posting Max Mode List completions. Within a few days, many people had flipped their viewpoints on Tyson, and I had misinterpreted this as transgender bias. What I had failed to realize was that Tyson had drastically changed the way that he acted when under this persona, and that he had completely erased all of his toxic traits when under this alias. For this, I am deeply sorry to anyone that I may have offended by saying the Max Mode List is biased towards transgender people. Any toxicity that I may have levied against someone who is transgender was not because of their gender identity. At no point did I ever intentionally not respect someone's pronouns. If you want to say that I am a toxic asshole who only tryhards games for the satisfaction of being better than others, I cannot refute that, and you are completely correct. And going forward, I will work on that. but I am not racist, nor am I transphobic, and I never will be. The narrative that was peddled here was the idea that if I spoke to someone that said offensive things, that I immediately endorsed all of their beliefs and ideas, when this is not true whatsoever. Bulan is one of these community members, but my discussions with him were either calling him weird or talking strictly about FNAF. Bulan was a very skilled player, and despite his history, I still thought that there were things that I could learn from him relating to FNAF, as he was the one who taught me to aim properly. But I recognized when he would go too far. When Bulan was making songs about Nephrite that were direct hate speech, I did speak up and say that it had gone too far. And when Nephrite had come to me about constantly being harassed by people in these servers, I did make an effort to DM the server owner and pass on her wishes. I should have done something to this avail far earlier and never let it get to this point, and for that, I am sorry. I also want to go over a direct point made to me about how the existence of my server was purely for a YouTube algorithm boost. Essentially, Frogger's point here was that I only ever used my server for algorithm boosts, and that I did not care about my fans whatsoever. If this were true, then I wouldn't have sent 37,000 messages total in my server interacting with my fans. In that conversation, I was lazily trying to defend how my server wasn't very moderated. And in an attempt to justify it, I'd stated that I didn't care how large it got because I was just using it for an initial algorithm boost. But these were not my true beliefs. I have always loved interacting with my fans, but I will recognize the server did get out of control, and I really didn't do anything to stop it. I only saw the member count as an initial boost for whenever I would release a video. And in retrospect, I should have paid a lot more attention to the Discord server than I did, as even now, I am still not acclimated to how popular of a figure that I've become. Regardless, I won't be using the platform anymore aside from video updates, and depending on how that's received, I may just delete the server entirely. I feel that it's not good for me, nor anyone around me. But as far as the toxicity goes, there is no defense. I have been and am a very toxic person, and I need to work on that. I'm sorry to those that I have hurt with my time on Discord. I will not quit YouTube, but I will not peddle any toxicity going forward no matter what. And I will be restricting my online presence to just YouTube in order to not cause any more suffering to anyone. I've had these problems for a long time, and my goal is to just fucking own it and work on being better in the future. Thank you for listening to what I have to say. I'm sorry.